Hello everyone, welcome to this video about metals and non-metals. It is very important to make notes while you are watching this video. Please pause the video if you need more time to write and also do these exercises with us when they come up. Let's start learning together. In this video, we will learn three things. Where to find metals and nonmetals on the periodic table, what are the differences between metals and nonmetals, and why metals have certain properties. We will talk about their electrons. So here you can see here's a periodic table. It is a big chart that shows all the elements that we have already found. Fun fact, there are already 118 elements on the periodic table and that we know of. Each square is a different element like gold and oxygen. It helps us to see something is a metal or a non-metal. Now you ask me, how can I see if it's a metal or non-metal? Let's see. Metals are on the left and in the middle of the periodic table. Group 1 and Group 2 have metals like sodium and magnesium. In the middle, we find the transition of metals like iron and copper. So as you can see here, the black symbolizes the metals on the periodic table and then the blue is the non-metals. So as we can see here, there is many more metals than non-metals. Let's quickly go back to the periodic table. Here you can see the metals will be on the left and the non-metals will be on the right. Like for instance, helium is a non-metal. Okay, guys, let's see. Non-metals are on the right side of the periodic table. We find them in groups of 4 to 7, like carbon and nitrogen. Group 0 is also full of non-metals like helium and neon. If you don't know where the groups and periods are on the periodic table, that's in a separate video that you can also watch after this one. Let's look at the sum of the metals. Here are some examples: copper, iron, zinc, sodium, potassium, and gold. Metals are shiny and strong. You can find them in coins, wires, and tools. Now let's look at non-metals. Examples are oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, helium, boron, and neon. And non-metals are often gases or dull-looking solids. Now let's compare metals and non-metals. Metals are good at carrying electricity and good at carrying heat. That means they are good conductors of electricity and heat. They are also shiny and heavy. So, with heavy, it means it's a high density and it can be bent and be shaped. So, it's malleable. It can be stretched into wires. So, it's ductile. Let's look at properties of non-metals. It's not good at carrying electricity and it's not good at carrying heat. This means it is not good conductors of heat and electricity. They are not shiny, that means they look dull, and they are light, low density, and they break easily, that means they are brittle. Why do metals have these cool properties? It is because they are structured. That way the atoms are inside them. So most of you know, if you're grade 4 or 5, maybe not so well, but everything is out of particles and particles make atoms, and everything on earth, everything is an atom. And in atoms there are electrons, protons, and neutrons. And with this electrons, you can see the atoms are inside, and how metals are structured you can see here on the left. So it's because of the structure, the way the atoms are inside, and that gives metals their properties. So metals have positive metal ions, free electrons. These free electrons help metals do special things, like for instance, conduct heat easier and so forth. So you can see here the positive metal ions and the deleucoside electrons. Conductivity. Metals are good at carrying electricity. Why? Because the electrons can move around. When these electrons move, they carry an electric charge. So as it moves, it makes electric charge. That's why when you move your hands up and down, like on a carpet or something, and you touch someone or something, you will shock because it moves. That makes electric charge. That is why wires are made of metal, because metal conduct electricity better. That's why non-metals that are not good conductors of electricity are covered with plastic, so that the electricity can't shock us, because they are bad conductors. Where metals are good conductors. So inside that plastic you see on from electric wires, there will be metal, usually copper. Metals also have a high melting point. This means they need a lot of heat to melt. Why? Because there is a strong attraction between the free electrons and the metal ions. It takes a lot of heat to break the strong force. Okay, again, um, grade fours and fives, and sometimes the grade six, you only need to know it's a melting point. You don't need to know yet why it's a good melting point and high and low melting points of metals and no metals. You don't need to know the reason why. Grade 7 to 9, you need to know, but grade 4 to 6, you only need to know the properties like it's good conductors of heat and electricity, it's a high and low melting point, it is shiny and dull, and so forth. Okay, let's look at the malleability. So, metals are malleable. This means we can heat them or press them and they bend instead of breaking. So, they don't break as easily, they will rather bend than break. Why? Because of the atoms in the metals can slide over each other. They move when we heat them, so we can make shapes like spoons and coins. You will also see with a spoon, it will rather bend than it will break. So if you go into like very hard ice cream, I know it always happens to me. If you ice cream have sit in the freezer for a long time and then you want to just put a spoon in, it will bend. That's because it's malleable. It's not always, it won't just break, it will bend. Okay, metals are also shiny. We call that lustrous. Why? Because the free electrons on the surface reflect light. That's why gold and silver are shiny. As you can see here of the picture, the top electrons, they will like take away, they will reflect the light that's shining on them back, and that's where the shining of the objects come from. This means again, non-metals won't be shining. Thank you for watching this video about metals and non-metals. Let's remember, metals are shiny, strong, and carry electricity and heat. Non-metals are often gases, dull, means they can't shine, and not good at carrying electricity and heat. The periodic table helps us know where metals and nonmetals are. Metals are properties happen because of their structure and moving electrons. Please remember to finish your notes and try the exercises on your own. So all the exercises in your textbook, please try it on your own. Write down all these notes in your on these videos to remember it better. Practice makes perfect. So please practice, practice, practice. Um, Listen over and over and over to my videos, to other videos, those ones on Google Classroom, so that you can remember. Because the more you hear it, the more you will remember it. Goodbye, guys, and happy learning.